everyone, so this video is going to be a questions and answers video about curly hair because I still get so many questions about it, and I try my best to reply to as many as I can, but I obviously can't reply to every single one of them, and I wanted to just get as much info on the matter out there because I know it's something that a lot of people really struggle with. So I've got your questions on my laptop right here in front of me. They're kind of in no particular order. I won't mention people's names just because you might not want me to, so I'm just going to start. And the first question is, how does your hair hold up in the summer humidity? Does it go poofy when curly or straight? To be fair, living in the UK, you don't really get much summer humidity, so it's not really that much of an issue. And where I lived before was by the sea, so it was probably very warm, but it wasn't very humid. And I've never really had too much of a problem with humidity, but I do find that if you're in an environment where it is quite humid, like when you go on holiday and that kind of thing, the only things that can kind of stop your hair going very poofy, whether you're wearing it curly or straight, is if you're wearing it curly, invest in some good hairspray and a good hair oil. It doesn't matter what hair oil, but when you're styling it, just add that into your routine, and it kind of helps lock down a little bit of the kind of poofiness and the frizz. And if you're wearing your hair straight, in a humid environment, if your hair's naturally curly, I would just advise you to just wear it naturally curly. It just makes life a lot easier than worrying about your kind of blowout going a bit frizzy or going back to being curly and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't really bother to straighten it, but if you have done and you want to keep it sleek, again, a really good thing is a little bit of hair oil and some hairspray to just kind of try and keep it intact for as long as you can. But it's something that's very difficult. You can't kind of totally humidity proof your hair. It just doesn't work like that. Then, have you ever tried a root booster spray, and can you tell us what you think? I have used various root boosters because supposedly the theory is if you kind of boost the volume at your roots, you won't get that kind of triangle shape that you can get when you've got curly hair. But I personally just find that they don't really do much. It's just another step. They can kind of make your scalp be a little bit icky, and it's just not something that works very well for me. It doesn't really make much difference, so I don't bother using it. And I am going to talk you through a couple of products that I do use on a regular basis in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to mention as well, I've got no nail polish on because I'm trying to just give my nails a couple of days break, but I absolutely hate having bare nails. I don't feel like me. It feels really weird. But yeah, I'm going to move on to some other questions now. The first one is, do you prefer mousse or creams, or do you use both? I prefer different things for different things. So yeah, I do use both. I find that maybe if you've got very dry hair, then a cream would be better. Whereas if you've got quite soft hair like I have, a mousse and a cream is good because they do two totally different things. A cream kind of locks the style in place and gives it more definition, whereas a mousse kind of boosts it up and zhuzhes it up a little bit. So you do need to kind of decide what curls you've got and kind of work with that, but I do use both. Then what do you do in terms of styling when your hair is cut too short? First of all, I am really sorry that your hair's been cut too short. I know that it is an absolute nightmare, and it's what puts you off going to the hairdressers every time, so I'm with you on that one. I feel your pain, but the only thing you can do really is to just treat it really well so it grows, and try and style it differently. And I think if your hair is curly and it's been cut shorter than you would like, you can just kind of use it as an excuse to kind of rock the really tight big hair style where you kind of just have more definition and your curls are less frizzy, and it is a really beautiful look at the same time. It's something that, you know, it's not maybe what you wanted, but you can rock it and it is a really nice look. And you can always just try and make sure you stay away from any heat and just keep your hair super healthy so it doesn't have any reason not to grow, if you know what I mean. But then the next question is, what's the best way to style a curly fringe? To style a curly fringe, I'm not really a believer in having a fringe if you've got curly hair, just because I feel like it's just too much maintenance for the average person. That being said, they can look great if you've had one. I'm not really the best person to talk about styling a curly fringe because I've never had one for that reason. But if you have got one, I think just kind of keeping it defined and not frizzy is key. So using a little bit of a smoothing product, maybe something like the Umberto Giannini Smoothly Curls Anti-Frizz Serum, just a little bit of that just to kind of give it a bit of definition, and so it's not frizzy and sticking out. And if you want to kind of just straighten your fringe and it kind of looks better, then you could do that, but again, it's very, very tricky to style a curly fringe, and it's something that takes a lot of practice and a lot of maintenance. Then what are the best products for soft, defined, non-frizzy curls? I'm not going to talk through every single product that I use because we'd be here forever in this video, but I have got several videos on the matter. I did my best products for curly hair a while back, so I will link that in the down bar. But I know a lot of people have been asking when am I going to do an updated curly hair video, and have I changed something, and I have changed something in my routine, and I am going to do one very soon. I want to kind of film the whole process, so I want to talk you through the products, and I want to show you me applying them on wet hair and then what I do in the morning and all that kind of thing. So I'm working on that because it means I wash my hair at night, so it means I'd have to film it at night, lighting issues, shower filming, all that kind of thing. But I am working on that, and I am going to get a updated version of my hair routine up very soon for you. Then we have my hair curls nicely when I let it dry while I sleep, but after being awake for a little bit it starts to go frizzy and poofy. Anything I can do. This is really common, my hair does this, and what it is when you go to sleep, if your hair's still wet, when you wake up sometimes it might feel dry, but inside, if you feel it can be still a little bit damp, and then what happens is as soon as that kind of dampness comes in contact with just the air, maybe you've got the heating on, if you've been outside or that kind of thing, it just goes a little bit poofy. So something that I would definitely recommend is if you have gone to bed with your hair wet, which is a good thing because I find my hair comes out much better defined if I've gone to bed with it wet. When you wake up in the morning, try and kind of have it up for a little bit, just in a clip while you're doing your makeup or in the shower and that kind of thing. Try and have it up so it can kind of dry, but the curls are still scrunched in, so it's drying in that defined way. Or you could just kind of lightly dry it with a diffuser on a cool setting so it doesn't go too frizzy, just to kind of get it dry inside so you don't let the kind of air make it go a little bit poofy. That's what I do, and it tends to kind of work brilliantly, but I don't it happens if my hair's still wet. If my hair's not still wet, then I tend to be okay. Then another thing is, what products do you use and what order do you use them when styling your curly hair? This is a great question and something that I've wanted to touch on for ages. As I said, I'm not going to talk through all the products because I'm going to do that in a separate video, but the order in which you use them is important. Now, I would use something like the Umberto Giannini Frizz Serum first, because it's got a light texture and it kind of gets rid of any frizz. I'd use something like that first. Then if I was using some sort of like defining cream, so either the Umberto Giannini Flirty Curl Scrunching Gel or the Boots Curl Cream, these are the two that I'm using at the moment, I'd use those next. Small amounts, kind of scrunch it into my hair wet. And then I would use a hair mousse because that just kind of locks everything in place and gives my hair lots of volume. This is my favourite one, the Pantene, what is this? Defined Curls hair mousse. I love this one. Put that everywhere, and then last I'll use a kind of texturizing spray. Sometimes I use it dry when I'm kind of styling it a little bit in the morning if I do that, but like today for example I haven't. And this is the Charles Worthington Rough and Tussle Salt Spray. I like that. I'll use that kind of as a last product. Or this is what I'm using at the moment and I love it, and it's the Give Me Texture Tussled Style Spray. This is really nice, but the only thing with this is that it is quite drying, which is good for my hair because my hair's very kind of soft and moisturized most of the time, so it's good for something for me to use something like this because it'll kind of just give it a little bit more oomph. But if you have got quite dry curls, that's something to be wary of. Then the last question is, how often do you wash your hair? And if you don't wash it every day, do you leave it for a day or two without brushing it? I wash my hair daily for that particular reason. I have tried leaving it, and it's not exactly something that works very well for me, and I've just realised that that wasn't the last question. There's one more that's just popped up now. It's not something that works for me necessarily, but if you do want to leave your hair in between, don't brush it. Brushing curly hair when it's dry is just the ultimate no-no, because all that happens is you end up looking like Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. And yes, Emma Watson is gorgeous, but that hairstyle in that film is just not a good look. It's kind of like frizzy triangle lion's mane. So brushing your hair when it's dry, if it's curly, is an absolute no-no, which is why you kind of do need to wash it every day. But if you don't want to do that, something that works really well is the next day just dampen your hair. So get some water in your hands, kind of scrunch it in your hair, make it a little bit damp, and then just kind of blast it with a diffuser, and that'll help kind of give definition and just reactivate the products that you've put in your hair the night before. Don't keep overloading your hair with products because it'll just end up looking a little bit messy. And then the last question is, how do you feel about co-washing? Now, for those of you who don't know, co-washing is washing your hair without shampoo, only using conditioner. Supposedly the theory behind it is that it's good for your hair because it has the same kind of ingredients in it, but it's just not got the sulfates, but it's the cleansing action and all that kind of thing. I have tried it, it didn't do anything for my hair, and I miss that kind of clean feeling, and I know that you probably need to get past the first barrier and just get used to it, and if you can do that then that's fantastic, but I just couldn't get past it and it just didn't do much for my hair. My hair just felt too kind of silicone covered and it didn't work for me, but there are a lot of people that swear by it, and I do think that it's something that everyone should try no matter what hair type you've got, just to see if it works for you, because it's just a nice idea if you want to try that. But those are the questions for now. If you've got any other questions, then put them in the comments below, and I will do a part 2 of this video because there are tons of questions and I don't want to just make it a really long 20-minute video. So definitely put those in the comments below, any other questions, and I'll do a second part, and I will see you next time. Bye.